All right, we are back from recess for our March 5th City Council meeting. All right, Madam Clerk, we don't have any items on the final reading. On the first reading, Madam Clerk, item A.
An ordinance amending Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 5, alcoholic beverages relating to the beer board.
Move to approve.
All right, it's been motioned and properly second. Any comments or questions? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. Madam Clerk, item B.
An ordinance amending Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 35, relative to the record board.
All right.
Move to approve.
Okay, it's been motioned and properly second. Any comments or questions? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. All right, under Public Works, item C.
An ordinance amending Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 32, Article 3, Sections 3261 through 3285, relating to excavations, restoration of paving.
You've heard the reading.
Move to approve.
It's been motioned and properly second. Any comments or questions? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. Item D.
An ordinance amending Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 32, Article 12, street construction.
Move to approve.
Okay, it's been motioned and properly second. Any comments or questions? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. Item E.
An ordinance amending Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 32, Section 3213, 3214, and 3215, relating to license to make excavations.
Move to approve.
Okay, it's been motioned and properly second. Any comments or questions? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. Right, we've reached resolutions. Councilman Smith.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and sorry to back us up really quick. We had a couple of items under Mayor's office that were deferred, and I just wanted to make sure that we were reading that the alternate version, I believe, Ms. Anderson, is that correct? I just want to make sure that it is the correct version that was read in that we are approving. Yes. Was that the right one?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
It's confirmed. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Councilman Smith. Okay, resolutions, item A.
A resolution confirming the appointment of Sean T. Stallings to the Head Start Governing Board for District 1 with a term beginning on March 6, 2024 and ending on March 5th, 2026.
All right, Councilman Henderson.
Move approval.
Second.
Been motioned and properly second. Any comments or questions? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. Is Mr. Stallings here? All right, well, hopefully he's watching, and thank you so much for serving. Okay, item B.
A resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a declaration of restrictive covenants in substantially the form attached on a Shallowford Road parcel identified as tax map number 137MB002.01.
Councilman Hester.
Move to approve.
All right, it's been motioned and properly second. Any comments or questions? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. All right, no objection from council. We'll take items C and D as a group. All right, Madam Clerk.
Item C, a resolution authorizing the Family Justice Center to apply for and, if awarded, accept a continuation grant from the Tennessee Office of Criminal Justice for services provided to victims living within Hamilton County for an amount not to exceed $124,000. Item D, a resolution authorizing the Family Justice Center to apply for and, if awarded, accept the National Association of Vocal Assistance Administrators NAVAA grant to support awareness activities for the National Crime Victims' Rights Awareness Week, NCVRW, for an amount not to exceed $5,000.
All right, Councilwoman Byrd.
Move approval.
Okay, it's been motioned and properly second. Any comments or questions? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. Item E.
A resolution authorizing the waiver of part rental fees for River City Company in support of Loop for the Chattanooga Green for the dates of March 12, 2024 through April 15, 2024, in the amount of $33,500. A deposit in the amount of $10,000 will be held by the City of Chattanooga for the entirety of this rental period to cover any potential damages incurred by the installation.
Move to approve.
Okay, all right, it's been motioned and properly second. Any comments or questions? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. Item F.
A resolution authorizing the administrator for the Department of Public Works to award contract number R23004-201, Batters Place Pickleball Court Canopies to Integrated Properties LLC of Chattanooga, Tennessee, in the amount of $78,138, with a contingency in the amount of $2,000 for a total amount of $80,138.
Okay, Councilman Ledford.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would like to move for approve. And Scott, if you could follow up with me, I'd love to be able to post something knowing when that might begin.
Second.
All right, it's been motioned and properly second. Any comments or questions? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. We have time for purchases. Lee Julia's coming on down.
Good evening, council. We have 3 purchases recommended for approval this evening. The first is from the Street Maintenance Division of Public Works. This is an increase of $131.54 for an additional 3.57 tons of bulk de-icing salt for roadways delivered by Compass Minerals America Incorporated for a new total spend of $52,747.54. This purchase utilizes State of Tennessee contract number SWC 507-66846. The second purchase is from Human Resources. This is a year 4 contract renewal with Johnston Associates for administrative services for IOD claims. Human Resources is requesting a $150,000 price increase due to an increase in claim payments and bill review costs. The new annual cost estimate is $2,876,501. The third and final purchase is from Facilities. This is an increase of $250,000 on our contract with United Elevator Services needed for unexpected repairs of older elevators. The new annual cost estimate is $640,000.
Second.
Okay, it's been motioned and properly second. Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
We do have one RFP format recommended for approval. This is from Parks and Outdoors. They're seeking proposals from qualified consulting firms to provide professional services to develop a citywide recreation program plan. The consultant will collect and analyze data to develop a clear set of goals, policies, and standards for the city's recreation system for the next 5 to 10 years, and will work closely with city staff in preparing the citywide recreation program plan.
All right, you've heard the request for proposals.
Move to approve.
All right, is there a second? Okay, it's been motioned and properly second. Any comments or questions? Thank you so much. All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries, all right?
We do have one sole source purchase to report as well from wastewater. This is a sole source purchase of $43,640 for an influent rake bar chain. Duperon Corp. is the sole provider for the Duperon service parts and all associated custom accessories in Tennessee. This purchase was advertised to confirm the sole source.
All right, thank you so
Thank you.
much. All right, thank you. Now comes time for committee reports. Councilwoman Coonrod. Councilwoman Knoll.
No report.
Councilwoman Burrs.
Yes, ma'am. On the 19th, we'll be having a budget and finance work session. We will be discussing council budget priorities and also follow-up discussion on the report.
All right, thank you so much. Councilman Henderson. Councilman Smith.
No report, Madam Chair.
All right, Councilman Ledford.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Planning and zoning did meet today, and also to remind you, on March 26th, we will have our proposed zoning code update work session number 3 in the conference room at 1 p.m.
All right, thank you so much. Councilman Hester.
We did meet today. I want to thank Ross again for his presentation, public works presentation.
All right, thank you so much, Councilman Hester. Madam Vice Chair.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We will have an affordable housing meeting next week to hear a presentation on the proposed changes to the affordable housing pilot policy.
All right, thank you so much. Now comes time for persons wishing to address the council. If you would like to address the council, please line up behind this podium. And as a reminder, before our attorney starts, today is election day. If you haven't voted, please go vote. Polls are open until 8 p.m. All right.
And at the end of each council business meeting, the chair will recognize members of the public who wish to address the council. Here's your rules. Each speaker wishing to address the council can only be recognized up front at the microphone provided for that purpose. Can't have more than 3 minutes to speak, and you can address the council only upon matters within their legislative and quasi-judicial authority and not upon matters which are not under their authority or regulated by other governmental bodies or agencies. You can't engage in any vulgar or obscene language nor use the floor to personally attack or personally denigrate others. Address your comments to the council as a whole and not make comments directed towards individual council members. And lastly, do not engage in disorderly conduct or disrupting a public meeting, which is prohibited by Tennessee law, and someone commits that offense if the person substantially obstructs or interferes with the meeting by physical action or verbal utterance with the intent to prevent or disrupt a lawful meeting or gathering. Having stated those rules, please go ahead, sir.
Hey everybody, John Highland Park. My original intent for showing up today was just to show off my red sticker and let you know I did my duty. But after the presentation showing only information on option A for Fraser Avenue, I thought I would show up to counterbalance some of that and give an opposing argumentation for why option B is best. But first and foremost, I want to say that the traffic study that is up on the website right now shows both option A and B as both having bike lanes, which means that people that are clicking through to what CDOT recommends is likely seeing that they're choosing between two different types of bike lanes, not one with and without bike lanes. But I want to go through and address some of the things that were brought up earlier. The first one was pedestrian safety. Pedestrian safety should be our first and primary concern. Adding a bike lane is itself a buffer between pedestrians and what is truly unsafe for them, cars. Getting hit by a bike is not only unlikely, but is unlikely, if it were to occur, to be fatal at any capacity. Creating a full buffer with a bike lane that is fully visual as well is something that will help pedestrian safety. Another thing to notice is that if you go on Fraser Avenue any day of the week, you will see bikes and e-bikes on the sidewalk. Why? Because we've made safe behavior disincentivized. We've incentivized risky behavior, and so people will continue to go on the sidewalk. If they're told there's a bike lane somewhere in the park, they're still going to ride on the sidewalk. And we need to remember that those who were killed, because one of the closing comments was that they're looking at comments, they've got 450 of them, but they're weighting people who live locally more than people who don't live locally. The North Shore Neighborhoods Association has come out in favor of option B. That should be noted. And also those who were killed and those who killed the pedestrians were not from the neighborhood. It's important to realize this is our hospitality zone. This is Chattanooga's living room. This is where our guests come. Our priority should be safety. The next thing has to do with business. It's pointed out that almost every study shows that cyclists outspend almost every other type of transportation. What's good for cyclists is good for business. Parking is being told that it's 18 additional spots. It's 18 different spots. It's 8 spots up from what we have now. And the city's Department of Transportation recommended bike facilities. So the people doing the research, looking at it in the public report, recommended that bike facilities be included. Congestion will continue to be a problem when we tell cyclists to share the same space with cars. The last thing is we need to consider future efficiency. When we close down the Walnut Street Bridge, people will be coming from ready-made bike lanes either on Market Street or Veteran Street Bridge, and mixing them in with cars the whole way or telling them to go to a pretend thing in the park is just not going to work. Pedestrian safety, business, it all works with option B.
All right.
Hello, I'm Byron Spencer. I live in District 2, not quite North Chattanooga, more Lupton City area. But I do want to address the council. Thanks for allowing me to do so. In favor of option B on Fraser. Like to piggyback on to what John just said here. Not only does a protected bike lane, is it not good for, it's good for leisure cyclists and people like that, but anyone that rolls will have better access to the area, not just people on bicycles. It'll make things safer for people that are disabled, et cetera. And either way. And also, we should be looking at Fraser as a model for bike lanes, for the more bike lanes in the city in general that are better protected. We need to start considering that other types of transportation exist and that people need to use them, and more people will use these types of transportation if we provide the infrastructure for them to do so. So that's all I got to say. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Byron.
Hi, good evening. I'm John LaRosa. I just moved in from District 1 into District 2 on Tremont Street, right up the road from Fraser Ave. And I biked here tonight, as I have to every city council meeting I've been since I started coming, which is 6 or so. And so I wanted to come and express my strong support for option B. I think it's the main reason is, one of the main reasons, in addition to what John and Byron said, is because it's really the only option of the two that takes seriously the idea of cycling as a form of travel. So supporting people who cycle for travel is quite important. Why is that? Well, I think because every cycling trip that's made for travel removes one car from the road. Like, it's just, it's pretty clear, or well, I mean, people are walking too, but it certainly removes cars from the road. And we have the new development going in on Manufacturers Road across from the Whole Foods shopping center there. And we need to encourage cycling as a form of travel. And this has the most impact on congestion, on pollution, on pavement wear. So I think I think we want to send that message, and we want to encourage cycling as a form of travel. The other thing too is, if you're familiar with that area, and I was thinking about this as I was coming over the Walnut Street Bridge, it's almost laughable to use Coolidge Park as a form of travel. I mean, sure, you can bike there, but that's for leisure, maybe even, if you're biking for sport or something, but it's like, I'm coming down Market Street from where I currently live, and I'm still in District 1, I'm moving to District 2 this week. I'm coming down Market Street, and then I'm supposed to somehow, I don't know, maybe cross Fraser in the crosswalk, and then get on that like little sidewalk that goes down to the park, and then I would be biking down kind of through the park, and then where would I come up to get to the Walnut Street Bridge? Would I carry my bike up that little pathway there? That's not even kind of here's that pathway, but there's stairs, and there's that sort of informal pathway that people have made, presumably for strollers and things like that, or bikes. So it's really just, it's kind of an absurd idea that people will bike through Coolidge as a form of travel. I mean, it's really just for leisure. So this is why option B is really clearly the only option that's supporting cycling as a mode of travel, and why I strongly support that option as opposed to option A. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
I have some papers. Thanks. All right. Hi, I'm going to sound like a broken record. I'm Denise Smith, and I live on Cherokee Boulevard. I'm a quarter mile from Fraser, so I'm in zip code 37405 for the man here who, thinks that the people that just live in the area should be more heavily considered. I walk down Fraser many days a week, and I consistently I walk past the car garage, and you see that little sign out there, and it has in green how many spots are available in that parking garage. I have never seen that drop below 100 spots, ever. And I think part of the issue is that people just don't know that it's there. And to me, you see all that parking that's available, and we're trying to add more parking with option A. It just seems a little counterintuitive to me, and I think that we're giving up something that will be really valuable to the city, both today and in the future, when we think about future multimodal connectivity, for a few parking spots. And I think that's the main key that I want to get at today, is connectivity. So in that little handout that I sent, that's going around, that's an example in downtown Indianapolis where they have 8 miles of pedestrian and bike connectivity. They saw $300 million of economic development occur around that 8-mile pathway. Significant increase in pedestrian and bicycle use along the pathway because people feel safe. So when we think about Fraser and the different options that have been proposed, what option is going to connect our city?
Yes.
Option B is going to connect our city because it connects to the bridge, which connects across the river. So, eventually in a perfect world, right, we'll be able to bike throughout the city, we'll be able to walk throughout the city safely without having to take a bunch of routes that are just off the beaten path, that people that are visiting our city, that are riding our bike shares, they're not going to know what the right path is. They're going to be able to see a bike lane and say, okay, I'm safe to ride here. This is a protected lane. And so in my utopian world, right, we can eventually bike down to the south side, all these different cultural hubs throughout our city, and connect them all and make it safe for people that live here and bike for transit and people that visit our city. We need to be thinking about not only what people want today, but what's going to benefit people in the future too. If we're going to spend a bunch of money, I hear capital improvements, we don't have the budget for that. We don't have the budget for that. I get it. It's government. It's city. There's not a lot of money to go around. But it's like, if we're going to be doing an improvement, we should be thinking about what that improvement's going to do in the future.
Yes.
And how is our money spent today going to help us in projects that we want to do and accomplish down the line. So that's my big point that I wanted to hit on. We're trading future connectivity for a couple parking spots. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, council. I'm Josh Martin. I live in an apartment on Battery Place. I don't know what district that would make me, but what district is that?
7.
I am not a road biker. I had a close friend that died in 2020 road biking on an open road in Maryland. So I can't speak to their issues. Like, I don't bike on the road. I take a lot of caution when there's road bikers. Like, I get share the road. Like, I don't have that sticker on my car, but I agree with that sticker. A little long-winded way to say that I was on a ride yesterday, biked from my apartment over to Stringer's Ridge, went on a mountain bike ride on Stringer's Ridge, then biked back to my apartment, and then was actually waiting to get car service done, so that was only had my bike available. So then I biked over to Whole Foods, which I know that this is like the Fraser. I know y'all are talking about like Fraser, but what I'm about to talk about is technically a manufacturer's road, but I think it's still very relevant. It's very close by, all the same area. I was crossing, again, I don't road bike. I wasn't on the road. I was crossing the road on my bike at a crosswalk. I had the walking man. I had the light to cross. I don't know about you guys, but in the past 8 weeks, I've seen some of the worst drivers in my entire life. I don't know if there's something about this year or I don't like it. I grew up here. I don't understand how people are driving. Like on the road, walking, doesn't matter. Like there's a lot of crazy people. They're not paying attention. They're drunk. I don't know. But I'm on my bike. Again, just to be clear, I was at a crosswalk. I was not on the road. I was not road biking. I was on a bike crossing a crosswalk. I had the light. I looked both ways twice. No cars were in motion. I began to cross the crosswalk. This was yesterday, about this time yesterday. Was crossing the crosswalk with the light, no cars in motion. And then as I'm crossing, I hear an engine rev and a car is turning left out from the Whole Foods area. If you can imagine turning left out of Whole Foods to get onto Manufacturers Road towards, GPS on Fraser. So someone was turning left. I guess they were on their phone, looked up, realized they were green, did not clear the walk at all. I'm on my bike. I'm 6'2" on a bike, and they somehow didn't see me. And we're peeling out. And I was paying attention. I didn't get hurt because I was looking out for that sort of thing. But it's still shocking to me. And I don't have much time left, but I just want to say that for the record, I really think that given how little care is given to bikers, pedestrians, and everything that we're talking about with Fraser and in general in this city, I really think that in terms of crosswalks, especially in highly congested areas for people walking or biking or whatever, we really need to have this light up.
Thank
where
you.
you press the button, it lights up so they can see and they don't hit someone like me.
All right, thank you, Mr. Martin. Appreciate it. All right. All right, council, I don't see anyone else wishing to address the council. What's your pleasure?